Hello everyone, again I am creating another video for you, and this video is going to focus on creating note cards and source cards for your research paper. So the first step after choosing your topic, of course, is to start finding resources and research, which you'll be using the databases for. And then the way that you will take notes on the articles that you find is by using note cards and source cards. So the first thing that I'm going to kind of talk to you about today is source cards and what that is. So using the databases, you are going to find different articles based on your topic. You're going to find a variety of articles, and then you're going to start taking notes on those. The first thing that you're going to create is a source card. You will have 7 source cards total at the end of your 3 sets of note cards that you turn in. And you can do these all throughout. For your first set of note cards, I should see at least 1 source card, but just kind of keep in mind that you have to have 7 different sources by the end of your research. If you have more than 7, that's totally fine, but 7 is the minimum, okay? So to create a source card, I'm going to actually go here. Like I said, you'll have a source card for every research source you use. So for every article that you find, you are going to create a source card, and you are going to use, very important, that you use an MLA citation for this. So on every source card, you'll have a source letter, which I'll talk about. If you look in this third bullet right here where I'm pointing, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then if you have more, you just kind of continue on with the alphabet. Then you'll have the MLA citation in the middle. You can find the MLA citation in the article that you read. So all you have to do is just copy and paste it into your Google Slides presentation, and then you will be all set. So I will show you the next slide, which gives you kind of a sample of what that looks like. So this is my first source, so I will label it source A, because that's my first source. And then I have that MLA citation that I got from the article that I am doing my research on. So let me just show you quickly where you'll find that MLA citation. And again, I'll show you a little bit more tomorrow when I go over how to use the databases, but I will show you quickly how to find that. So if you were using SIRS and you were looking at an article, on the right-hand side, you see the word cite. This cite is where you will find that citation. So if you just click on there, you have that, and you can just hit the copy button, and that will copy and paste it into your source card. Okay, next, let's talk about your note cards. So for your note cards, you're going to have 3 sets that are due. With each set, you will have 12 that are due for those 3 due dates. You can have as many note cards as you need to for each source card. So if you have 1 source, the first set, and all 12 of your note cards come from that first source, that is fine. I don't really suggest it because you have to find 7 sources, but you can do it that way. So here is the sample note card format. You can see on this side kind of the layout of each note card, but I will go through what each section of the note card entails. So first, up at the top, you're going to have a keyword or phrase. This is something that you want to keep short so that when you're looking at your note cards later and you're sorting all your information, all you have to do is briefly look at the word and phrase to identify what's in the card. Basically, what the keyword or phrase does is it just summarizes the information on your note card. You do not need a different keyword for each note card either, so you can have as many note cards as you want with the same keyword, which is kind of what you want, because then when you're sorting it later, you're creating your main ideas for your essay right there. Just a reminder, the keyword or phrase does need to be short. It should not be the title of your article. Okay, so that's first. Another thing that you'll have in your note card is the source letter and the card number. So your source letter comes from the source that you created first, that source card. So for example, A, right? and then your card number would be 1. So if I'm creating my first note card for my source A, it would say A1. And if I use that same source and I wanted to create another source card, I'd put A2, indicating that it's my second card, A3, and so on. Okay, so this just links the note card source without having to write down all that citation information on every card. You can have as many note cards as you want with the same source card letter, but each card should have a different number. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Next thing is the citation. This should look really familiar to you. We've been kind of practicing this all semester long. But your citation is the author's last name and the page number in parentheses. It goes at the bottom of your card and it is centered. On this slide right here, you can kind of see just some details for things if you can't find certain things. So for example, if there's no author, you're going to write the first 2 to 3 words of the article title in quotation marks in the citation. Reminder that there's no comma separating the author and the page number. There's also no little P's or PG's or anything like that. Sometimes you might not find a page number. If you don't have a page number, you just put the author's last name. A couple reminders for you. As I said previously, you can have as many note cards as you want from the same citation, but if you have a new source coming in, you need to start a different note card, obviously. And here's just some tips for you. Sometimes people get stuck, like, I don't really get what to put on the citation, what goes on the bottom. What you can do is you can look at that source card that you created, and whatever words appear first is what goes on the bottom of your note card. So if the author's last name is first, then that goes on the bottom. If there's no author and it starts with your article title, then that goes on the bottom, okay? And then just another one, if you cannot find a page number for some reason, one thing that you can do is you can check the year on your source card. Usually the year comes right after the date, so check that. And also just check the top of the actual article for page numbers. Just don't assume that there's not one. And then last step is just the information on your note card. So you should have at least 2 to 3 pieces of information per card. This includes quotes, summaries, paraphrases, and you just want to make sure that the information on the card is from the same source, or you need to start a new note card. You want to be as detailed as you can. The more information you have on your note cards, the easier it's going to be to write your paper, because you're just going to have lots of research. So I don't want 1 to 2 word phrases on there. I want you to fill these note cards up, okay? So the next slide I'll show you is a sample note card. I'll show you a couple so you can kind of see it. So here's a sample source card. You can see the source A. You can see my MLA citation right there that I copied from my article. And then here's a sample note card. So you have your keyword or phrase up at the top, my source number. So this came from source A. It's my first card. I have 2 to 3 pieces of information, lots of details, and then on the bottom is my citation. So I'm going to go back one slide so you can look at my source card, but it's Wariski 710. And if you look after the year, like I talked about, there's those page numbers. Okay, and Wariski appears first, so that's what goes on the bottom of my note card. Okay, so I'll go back so you can kind of see that one more time. And then here's another one. So source B, starting a new source. There's my citation. Okay, same thing. Keyword or phrase, 2 to 3 pieces of information per note card. And there's my source card, or my source and my card number, and then my citation at the bottom. Okay. All right, so hopefully that's enough information. I will put this in that week 2 folder as well, so you can look back at it and use it to help you. I'm going to actually have you do a practice one today for your assignment. There is an article in that same folder. I will send you a message with directions about that. And then I'll give you some feedback on how you did creating your practice source or note card. Okay. One last thing I want to show you is just kind of how to set it up. So you are going to have 3 separate documents that you are submitting to me. So, I would probably label my document like note cards set 1. Okay, you can choose whatever theme you want. It doesn't really matter. So I close that out. For that first slide, I just did, for the sources, I did a blank one. And then you can just insert like text boxes how you want, okay, and type in those, for example. And then if I wanted to copy and paste my citation, so if I were to go here, copy, and then I can paste it in there. For your works cited or your citation, usually they're double spaced, so if you want to save yourself some work, you can double space those. They are also reverse indented, so you don't have to do that now, but I'll show you that you can do that. You can see that I'm moving these tabs kind of up here. Okay, and then if I'm going to start inserting my notes, okay, you can leave you can leave it like this if you want, but you just have to format it a little bit. So, you know, I do need to center this because that's my keyword, right? You have bullets of information, so 2 to 3 pieces of info, be detailed. You are taking notes on your article. I can spell. Okay. You're going to have to insert a citation, so use that like text box again. If I were going to make a citation for the source, I have 2 authors, so that's good. So you actually, if you have 2 authors, you want to make sure you put both. So I have this one right here, and then my other guy right here. I'll just copy it. I don't see a page number, but I will show you where you can check for that. And then you always want to put in parentheses. I'm just going to go back to that article just to make sure I'm not missing a page number. I didn't see one in the citation, but sometimes at the top of the articles they have one, and I don't see one. I'll just check the bottom. And there isn't one. So that means I just leave it like that. And then you're going to insert my source card. So that's my first source. So I'm going to do A1. Okay, and you can adjust the font if you want. I kind of would like this bigger, but if you don't care, you can really like do whatever you want. Okay, so if you have any questions, please let me know. Hopefully this helps, and I'll have you do a practice one today. And then please leave me some questions in that discussion board if you have any questions about that as well. All right, have a great day. See you tomorrow.